Hello, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we shall be looking at a singular and plural compound nouns. Forming plural in a compound noun could be somehow difficult because in most cases, students don't know which of the words to pluralize because a compound noun is made up of more than a word. Therefore, sometimes it could prove difficult to know the exact word out of the two or more words that form the compound to pluralize. And that is what we want to learn. That is what we want to disentangle in today's video. Actually, there are rules that guide pluralizing compound nouns. Once the rules are well known, it will be easy for us to pluralize most compound nouns in English language. So what are the rules? The first rule, which is going to be in A, is pluralize the main noun. Pluralize the main noun. You see, compound nouns are like phrases. Every compound noun has a head word that we call the main noun. In most cases, it is the main noun that takes the plural, that takes the S. Let's look at this compound noun, this common one, school bus. We have school, we have bus. When we look at that noun, school bus, is it a school or a bus? The answer is a school bus is a bus, not a school. That means bus is the head word. Bus is the main noun. For this reason, bus takes the plural. The plural of school bus is school buses, not schools bus or schools buses. Because bus is the main noun, bus takes the plural marker. Then we have school buses. Let's take a look at another compound noun, passerby. A passerby is a passer, someone who is passing. So passer is the main noun. Therefore, we pluralize passer, not by. The plural of passerby is passers-by, not passerbys or passers-by. Because passer, the person who is passing, is the main noun, then it takes the plural marker. Also, let's look at the compound noun sunflower. Sunflower. A sunflower, is it a sun or a flower? A sunflower is not a sun, it is a flower. Therefore, flower is the main noun. For this reason, flower takes the plural marker. The plural of sunflower becomes sunflowers, not sons flower or sons flowers. Let's look at other examples. Secretary General. A Secretary General is not a general. It is actually a secretary. So secretary is the main noun, is the head word. Therefore, secretary is pluralized. So the plural of a Secretary General is secretaries general. Let's come to Major General. Major General. General is the head word here because in the army, we have many generals as ranks. Major is an adjective to differentiate between this particular rank from other general ranks like Brigadier General or Lieutenant General. In all, general is the main noun, while major is the adjective. For this reason, general is pluralized. So the plural of major general is major generals. The next one is editor-in-chief. An editor-in-chief is not actually a chief, is an editor, like a chief editor. So editor is the main noun. The plural of editor-in-chief becomes editors-in-chief. Let's come to the next one, toothbrush. Toothbrush. A toothbrush is not a tooth, it's a brush. So brush is the main noun. We pluralize brush. It becomes toothbrushes. Aide-de-camp. This one is from French origin. An aide-de-camp is actually an aide. Therefore, aide is the main noun. We pluralize aide. It becomes aides-de-camp. Aides-de-camp. Let's come to the next rule. The next rule says, when the compound noun is made up of a noun and a preposition, that is noun plus preposition, pluralize the noun. It does not matter whether the noun comes first or the noun comes last. When the compound is made up of a noun and a preposition, just add s to the noun. Passerby becomes passers-by because passer is the noun, by is the preposition. So passerby becomes passers-by. Runner-up becomes runners-up because runner is the noun, up is the preposition. Hanger-on becomes hangers-on because hanger is the noun, while on is the preposition. Onlooker becomes onlookers because looker is the noun, while on is the preposition. So the noun takes the plural marker. becomes onlookers. The next rule says when the compound noun is made up of noun plus preposition plus noun, pluralize the first noun. Now in this case we have two nouns. There is a noun, then followed by a preposition, then followed by another noun. Then in this case it is the first noun that we are going to pluralize. Let's see. Mother-in-law becomes mother-in-law. Son-in-law becomes sons-in-law. It is the first noun. Son is the first noun, then it becomes sons-in-law. Chief of staff, chief is the first noun, then it becomes chiefs of staff. Head of state, head is the first noun, while state is the second noun. So it becomes heads of state. Editor-in-chief becomes editors-in-chief, because editor is the first noun, then chief is the last noun. Secretary of state becomes secretaries of state. Pastor in charge becomes pastors in charge. The next one says, when the compound noun does not begin with a noun, pluralize the last word. And the last word is likely going to be a noun. When the compound noun does not begin with a noun, the last word is likely going to be a noun. So just pluralize the last word. See, underwood. Under is a preposition, while wood is the noun. So just add s to the wood. Underwood becomes underwoods. Outpost. Outpost. Out is a preposition, post is the noun. So outpost becomes outposts. Out of bound. Out of bound. Bound is the noun. So bound takes the s. Out of bound becomes out of bounds. Next of kin. Next of kin. Kin is the noun. So it is the kin that takes the s. So next of kin becomes next of kins. The next rule says when the compound is made up of a noun and an adjective, that is noun plus adjective, or an adjective plus a noun, the adjective is just a modifier, so the noun takes the plural marker. The noun is expressed in plural. So whenever you have a noun and an adjective, the noun will always take the plural marker. For example, attorney general becomes attorneys general. Attorney is the noun, general is the adjective. So the noun takes the plural marker. Attorney becomes attorneys, then attorney general becomes attorneys general. General manager becomes general managers. Manager is the noun, general is the adjective. So the noun, which is manager, takes the plural marker. Director general. Director is the noun, general is the adjective. So it becomes directors general. Secretary general becomes secretaries general. Most compound nouns ending in general are pluralized on the first word. The only different one, the only exception to this is major general, whose plural is on the generals. And the reason is because general is the noun, while major is the adjective. Major general becomes major generals. Financial secretary. Financial is adjective. Secretary is the noun. Financial secretary therefore becomes financial secretaries. The next rule says, when the compound noun is made up of two nouns, both of the words are nouns, noun plus noun. The first noun is serving as a modifier, so the second noun takes the plural marker. The second noun is pluralized. So the first noun behaves like an adjective, while the second noun is pluralized. Let's see these examples. Lady driver. Lady is a noun, driver is a noun. But lady in this case is a modifier of driver. Therefore, driver is pluralized. We have lady drivers. Toothbrush. Tooth is a noun, brush is a noun. But tooth is modifying brush. So brush is the main noun. Therefore, we pluralize brush. Toothbrush become toothbrushes. Teaspoon. Tea is a noun, spoon is a noun. But tea is describing spoon. Of course, a teaspoon is not tea, it is a spoon. So spoon is pluralized. Then we have teaspoons. Gumball, a ball that is made from gum. So a gumball is actually a ball, no longer gum. So gum is modifying ball. The plural therefore becomes gumballs. Fishmonger, fishmonger. Fish is a noun, monger is a noun. But fish is describing monger. Fish is a qualifier of monger. In this case, it becomes fishmongers. The next rule says, when none of the words that make up the compound noun is a noun, add s to the second word. That is, when the two words, two or more words that make up the compound, none of them is a noun, then the last word takes the plural marker. Touch down. Touch is a verb. Down is like a preposition or adverb. So in this case, it becomes touchdowns. Take off. Take off becomes take-offs, because none of them is a noun. Grown up. Grown up. Grown is a verb. Up is like a preposition in this case. Therefore, it becomes grown-ups. Since none of them is a noun, we add s to the last word. Grown up, grown-ups. Breakdown, breakdowns. Although this one is rarely used, breakdown becomes breakdowns. Stop over, stop over. Stop is a verb, over is a preposition. So stop over becomes stop overs. Sleep over becomes sleepovers. Break in become break-ins. Check in becomes check-ins. The next rule says, if the gender noun woman or man is used as the first word in a compound noun, then pluralized both words in the compound. In this case, we pluralize both words, the two words, whenever we see woman or man as the first word in the compound. Look at this. Man servant. Man servant becomes men servants. Men servants. Woman pilot becomes women pilots. Woman doctor. Woman doctor becomes women doctors. Women doctors. Man friend. Man friend becomes men friends. Men friends. Women teacher. Women teacher becomes women teachers. Women teachers. Women leader becomes women leaders. Women leaders. Let's go to the next rule. If the gender nouns woman and man are replaced with the gender word female and male, only the last noun is pluralized. Male servant becomes male servants. Female pilot becomes female pilots. Female doctor becomes female doctors. Male friend becomes male friends. Female teacher becomes female teachers. Female leader becomes female leaders. The next rule. If the gender noun woman, man, girl, and boy come at the end of the compound, they are the ones to be pluralized. If woman, man, girl, or boy, if any of them comes at the end of the compound noun, they are the ones that will be pluralized. So washman becomes washmen. Saleswoman becomes saleswomen. Chairman becomes chairman. Take note that the both words, singular chairman and plural chairman, are pronounced the same way. Those two words are pronounced exactly the same way. They have the same pronunciation. Singular, chairman. Plural, chairman. Errand boy becomes errand boys. Compound words ending in FUL are pluralized at the end. Compound words ending in FUL are pluralized at the end. Teaspoonful becomes teaspoonfuls. Handful becomes handfuls. Cupful becomes cupfuls. Mouthful becomes mouthfuls. Hopeful becomes hopefuls. In this case, aspirant, an aspirant. For example, we can say a presidential hopeful. That means a presidential aspirant. Then the last example here is uncategorized, and that is Lord Justice. It becomes Lord's Justices. Both words are pluralized. Lord Justice singular, Lord's Justices plural. Okay, let's come to the past question. Question 78, UME 1995. The hospital can now boast of more dash. The hospital can now boast of more dash. A, women doctor. B, woman doctor. C, women doctors. D, women's with apostrophe and doctors. Look at what we said here, that if the gender noun woman and man is used, if any of them is used as the first word in a compound noun, both words are pluralized. Then that means, following this rule, the correct option is option C. The hospital can now boast of more women doctors. Women doctors. The next question is question 75, UME 1993. They spent the last holiday with their dash. They spent the last holiday with their dash. A, sisters-in-laws. B, sisters-in-law. C, sister-in-laws. D, sister-in-law. This falls under that particular rule where we said that when a compound noun is made up of noun plus preposition plus noun, then we pluralize the first noun. So we have noun, that's a sister, preposition, in, noun, laws. The first noun is pluralized, only the first noun. Following this rule, the correct option is option B, sisters-in-law. They spent the last holiday with their sisters-in-law. The next question, question 54, UME 1981. Some people think that dash are potentially a nuisance. Some people think that dash are potentially a nuisance. A, parent-in-law. B, parents-in-law. C, parents-in-laws. D, parent-in-laws. This is just like the previous one. So we pluralize the first noun, and that is option B. Some people think that parents-in-law are potentially a nuisance. Parents-in-law. The last one we have here is question 78, 2013 UTME. That question says, local government are authorized to pass dash. Local government are authorized to pass dash. A, by law. B, bylaws. C, buys laws. D, buys law. This follows the rule that says whenever the compound noun is made up of a preposition and a noun, or a noun and a preposition, that means the noun could come before the preposition or the preposition before the noun. Whichever arrangement, the noun will always be pluralized. In this case, by in this particular word is a preposition, bye, while law is the noun. Therefore, law takes the plural marker. The correct option is option B as well, by laws. Local governments are authorized to pass by laws. So that is going to be the end of this class. As far as this video is concerned, do well to subscribe to the channel. See you some another time. Bye-bye.